Midtown Manhattan, bustling streets, towering skyscrapers, and on an ordinary December day, a shocking crime that left a city stunned. The CEO of one of the world's largest health insurance companies, Brian Thompson, was gunned down in cold blood. His life ended in a brutal act of violence that has captivated the nation. Behind this tragic event is a name now etched into the headlines: Luigi Mangione. A 26-year-old Ivy League graduate turned fugitive, Mangione's story unfolds like a dark thriller, with allegations of intricate planning, 3D printed weapons, and a manifesto that reflects a deep-seated rage against corporate greed. But who is Luigi Mangione? What drove him to allegedly commit such a heinous act? And what does his story say about the mounting frustration with the U.S. healthcare system? Today, we're diving into the chilling details of this case, exploring the evidence, the motives, and the broader implications of this shocking crime. Before we begin, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update from True Crime Files. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Mangione acted alone? Could there be more to this case than meets the eye? Let's get started. It was supposed to be just another day for Brian Thompson. On December 3rd, 2024, the CEO of UnitedHealthcare was walking to a Midtown Manhattan hotel for his company's annual investor conference. What happened next shocked not just New York City, but the entire nation. According to eyewitness accounts, Thompson was approached by a man described as calm, yet determined. Without warning, 3 shots were fired, each echoing through the busy street. Chaos erupted as pedestrians scrambled for safety, and Thompson collapsed, lifeless, on the sidewalk. The suspect fled, vanishing into the crowded streets of Manhattan. For days, he evaded capture, leading law enforcement on a week-long manhunt that stretched from New York to Pennsylvania. The break in the case came on December 9th, when a McDonald's employee in Pennsylvania recognized the suspect and alerted authorities. That suspect was Luigi Mangione, a young man with an impeccable academic record, a former valedictorian and an Ivy League graduate. His arrest revealed shocking details: a 3D printed firearm, a suppressor, fake IDs, and a notebook filled with ominous writings. Investigators allege that Mangione meticulously planned the assassination, viewing it as a symbolic takedown of corporate greed. His notebook, a key piece of evidence, outlines his grievances against the health insurance industry, painting a picture of a man consumed by anger and frustration. But the story doesn't end there. Mangione now faces an array of charges, including first-degree murder, federal firearms offenses, and more. If convicted, he could face life in prison, or even the death penalty. As we unravel this case, we'll delve into the evidence, Mangione's background, and the broader societal implications. What drives someone to allegedly commit such a calculated act of violence? And how did the U.S. healthcare system become a target of such deep resentment? Stay tuned to find out. Before we dive deeper, make sure to drop a comment below with your theories and thoughts about this case. What do you think motivated Mangione? Let's hear from you. To understand the gravity of this case, we need to start with Luigi Mangione himself. Who is this young man accused of such a heinous crime? Mangione's story begins in a wealthy suburban neighborhood. Born into privilege, he excelled academically, becoming a high school valedictorian, and later graduating from an Ivy League institution. On paper, his life seemed destined for success. But beneath the surface, cracks began to form. Investigators describe Mangione as deeply disillusioned with corporate America. particularly the health insurance industry. His writings, discovered in a notebook at the time of his arrest, reveal a man grappling with anger and frustration. In one entry he writes, "The system is rigged. Profits over people. They don't care about us." But how does someone move from anger to alleged murder? Let's examine the timeline of events leading up to the crime. In the months before the shooting, Mangione traveled across state lines, meticulously planning every detail of the attack. Surveillance footage shows him purchasing supplies, including a 3D printer used to create the weapon allegedly used in the murder. Law enforcement also discovered multiple fake IDs, suggesting he had been preparing for life on the run. The murder itself was swift and calculated. Forensic evidence ties the weapon found in Mangione's possession to the crime scene, with shell casings bearing words like deny, defend, and depose. These cryptic markings echo themes of corporate critique found in his writings. But the evidence doesn't end there. The federal complaint against Mangione alleges he used his cell phone and internet to stalk Thompson, learning his daily routines and plotting the perfect moment to strike. Mangione's first court appearance was a spectacle. Flanked by armed officers, he pleaded not guilty to state murder and terror charges. His defense attorney argues he cannot receive a fair trial, citing intense media scrutiny and high-profile figures like Mayor Eric Adams being involved in his extradition. Prosecutors, however, remain confident. They describe the case as one of the most evidence-rich they've ever seen, including thousands of hours of surveillance footage, fingerprints, and Mangione's own writings. As the trial date approaches, public opinion remains divided. Outside the courthouse, protesters hold signs reading "People over profit" and "Healthcare is a human right," turning Mangione into an unlikely folk hero for some. But the law remains clear. If convicted on federal charges, Mangione could face the death penalty. On state charges, he risks life without parole. So what's next? We'll explore the implications of this case in a broader context, including the societal frustrations with healthcare and corporate greed that may have fueled Mangione's alleged actions. As we examine this complex case, let's turn the conversation over to you. Here are some questions to think about. Do you believe the evidence against Mangione paints a clear picture of guilt, or do you think there's more to the story? What role does societal frustration with healthcare and corporate greed play in this case? Does it provide context or merely complicate the narrative? Mangione's writings suggest a deep anger at the system. Can such anger ever justify violent actions, or does it highlight the need for systemic change? Drop your answers in the comments below. Let's spark a thoughtful discussion. Remember, true crime is about more than just the details. It's about understanding the human stories and societal forces behind the headlines. And don't forget to share this video with friends and family who might have their own insights into this case. The more perspectives, the better. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the case of Luigi Mangione and the shocking murder of Brian Thompson. As this trial unfolds, we'll continue to bring you updates, uncover new details, and explore the broader implications of this story. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Share your thoughts in the comments below. We love hearing from you. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and keep exploring the untold stories with True Crime Files.